All right, so welcome back, and on this one we are going to talk about the tool and the dual pan. Now, this one it's most intended for beginners. So if you have some experience, maybe you're going to get bored. So yeah, so it's just the tool and dual pan. Now, if you don't know, you're really not very sure what the pan does, and if you think that it's just to move the sound to the left and just the sound and move it to the right, just stick around. Maybe you're going to learn something new and you're going to say, oh man, I've been using the tool, the pan, all wrong. So, okay. So let's start with the tool. And I get this weird clip right here, which is very simple. I got a guitar in the left and then another guitar in the right. So if I play this back, that's what we get. I know it sounds very weird, just so weird, but that's okay. Okay, so we get one in the left and one in the right. That's why we see the stereo file just like this. Okay, so then, of course, if I go to the tool, we get just basic controls. We get the volume, the gain, the pan, and the width. Okay, so let's start with the width. The width is just to add a little bit more width to the sound. Since this is a stereo file, you're going to get more width. And of course, this one goes full mono. No, not stereo anymore. Everything sounds in the center. And this is very useful because what happens if you have a kick that it's super wide and it's just messing with your mix? You're just going to go with the tool and you're going to make it full mono, for example. That's one of the uses. All right. So, but very simple. Then you get the volume and the gain, and maybe you're saying, dude, isn't just the same? Well, they are kind of similar to us because we hear what's going on and we just hear no difference. Now, let me just show you a different example. I'm going to go right here to the sampler. And notice that on the sampler, you get different controls to adjust the volume. And on this one, you get gain. On this one, you get another gain. And on this one, you get the out. So the volume and the gain are just different. Now, the gain, what it will do, it will mess with the amplitude. And the volume is just like the volume on the track, like going right here and increasing the volume. Now, when you increase the volume, you're just increasing the volume of the mixer, not the actual gain. You're not adjusting the gain of this one. But if you adjust the gain of a sample, what you're going to get a much more you're going to get more amplitude right here. The waveform is going to look much bigger. So if I go up, notice that everything gets super weird. And it's because we're adding more gain. So it's a little bit different if we add volume. This will not happen if we add volume. So we are applying this gain to the actual clip and not modifying what comes out of the device. So it's just different. It's just different. So with the tool, you get pretty much the same. The volume is just will modify the volume that comes out, and the gain will just apply gain right here to the actual clip. And another difference is you get different values. For example, on the volume, you can go to minus infinite, which is full silence, and you can go to plus 18 dBs up. Just rise the volume to plus 18, or you go to full silence, and you are going to get full silence. Now with the gain, you cannot do that. You can go to higher values. You can increase the volume, just the amplitude and volume much more, but you cannot go to full silence. If I go and play it like this, notice we are going to get some something. And I'm all the way down on the gain. Right. If I go and play it back and I go volume, we do get full silence. So that's the difference. Volume and gain are just not the same. All right. Then we get the pan control, and in this one we're going to talk about this in a second. And then we get something at the top. And this one, of course, it's the swap left and right. So right here we have the one guitar in the left, one guitar in the right. If I play this and swap, now the guitar that was in the left is in the right and the right in the left. We are just swapping the channels. Right? Pretty simple. I feel like I don't need to explain a lot with this one. And then you get the L minus and the R minus. So this one, what it will do, it will invert the phase. Now, you might not know what phase is. So right here, notice that we get a waveform, all right? So I'm going to click on this one and I'm going to bounce this file. Just going to bounce it. I'm going to go, and it will, of course, give us pretty much the same file, right? Because we are just not doing anything. The only thing we do is just invert the phase. All right. So I'm going to go and I'm going to play this one, and we get that. All right. So now I'm going to go and play this one. and we get that. So can you hear that there's something different? No, it just sounds the same. The only difference is the phase. Notice that on this one, maybe here, this goes up, and on this one, it goes down. So that's what inverting phase means. We're just inverting the phase. Now, what is the problem with this? Now, when you play a sound and then you play another one that sounds exactly the same, but you invert the phase, you get total silence. And I can just prove this. I'm going to go and duplicate all of this. I'm just going to duplicate this clip. So we have the same here and the same here. But in this one, I'm going to go and invert the phase of this one. I'm going to go and just disable this one, and we're going to get the guitar, which is cool. But as soon as we enable this one, since we are inverting the phase, this one, it's canceling this sound. We get total silence. And that's what happens. And when you hear the term phase cancellation, this is what happens. One phase, since it's going to the opposite, the exact opposite of the other one, and it's the same sound, we just get total silence. You just get nothing. It's amazing, right? Okay. So where do we get this? Because if you think about this, you're not going to play maybe, unless you're just double tracking, you're not going to play the same sound and twice, the same exact sound twice on two different channels. Maybe you're going to do something different on this one and something different on this one. And if you're doing so, they're not going to be the same. Now, you get this one because sometimes you're going to be adding some tracks, some clips, and you're going to get some sounds, a waveform right here. And maybe you're going to add another instrument that plays around the same frequencies, and pretty much it's very similar. Well, sometimes the phase will just add a little bit of cancellation to the other sound. So when you blend them together, instead of getting a very cool sound, you get a dull one because you're getting a little bit of phase cancellation. That's the problem. So with the tool, if you suspect that you're getting a little bit of phase cancellation, you just drop the tool and you just invert the phase, and you just need to listen. Because if you're getting some bass back, for example, or it sounds maybe not that dull, it means that you had a little bit of phase cancellation, and there you go. You can fix it by just inverting the phase. Right, so that's why you get the phase cancellation button. It's pretty simple. All right, so let me just delete this one. And again, if we think about this, if we draw into conclusions, you think the tool, was a pretty simple device, pretty simple plugin, but it's really useful. We can just increase the volume, we can make it wider, we can make it mono, we can use panning, just move it to the left, move it to the right, we can invert the phase or swap the channels. It's just a single plugin, and it just does so much. And it's the most important plugin, one of the most important plugins you get on your DAW. It doesn't matter if it's just a native plugin or a third-party plugin. It's just super important. You should use it the whole time. Now, another uses for the tool is the automation. So let's say I'm going to go right here, and I want to add a little bit of automation to the volume, right? To the volume. So I'm going to go and say, all right, so on this section, I'm going to go up, on this down, on this up, on this out, up, and then on this down, right? So if I play it, I'm modulating, just adding a little bit of automation to my mixer control. And this one goes really crazy. First of all, it's just a little bit weird to see when you're playing the track. This one goes up and down the whole time. It's just weird. And the thing is that what happens if you need to adjust the volume a little, just adjust a little bit of volume of this one, just to make adjustments to this track when you're mixing. This one is going to go up and down. So how are you going to do it? Well, the first way is just go and adjust this, and it will disable the automation. Right here, you can actually disable when you get it. Or what you can do, you can add a tool plugin. So instead of adding a modulation to the actual mixer, which that's something that you should not do, you just can do it with the tool. It's much easier. I'm going to go select the volume, and now I'm going to be able to automate the volume right here. And then if I need to do some other adjustments to the volume, I'm going to go and just lower the volume of the track. Why using the tool? Why using the main volume fader of the channel? Just use the tool, and then you make the tiny adjustments with everything. That's another way you would use the tool. Okay, so let me just delete all of this. We are not going to use it at all. Just delete it. All right, so I'm going to go back and we are just going to go to the normal tool because now we're going to talk about the pan. And then we have the dual pan. And you might be thinking, what's the difference? So there is a lot of difference. And I'm going to bring an ozone imager so you can see what's going to happen on the stereo field. Let me just find it first. All right, so there we go, is the ozone imager. We're going to use it in a second. For now, I'm going to turn this off. And for now, I'm going to turn this off. Okay, so maybe I'm going to redefine what you know about the panning. So this pan control is just like this pan control. They are the same control. So if I go and play this, we can hear something on the left, this guitar in the left, this guitar in the right. Make sure you're using some headphones or some cool or good speakers. All right, so we know that. So I'm going to say, okay, you know, it sounds nice, but maybe I would like to move this sound a little bit more to the left rather than moving it to the right. So you're going to say, okay, I'm going to pan it, right? Okay, so I'm going to pan. I'm going to go all the way to the left. Just to an absurd, I'm going to go and use this one. I'm going to go all the way to the left. So I'm going to play it again and just let me know. I'm going to play this with off and then on and just think about the difference. What's going to be missing? Can you hear the difference? Have you noticed that something is missing? So the pan control, what it will do, it will not move the entire file, both sounds, to the left. It will not move this. Now, the channels, they get divided in two, the left and the right. So the pan control is like saying, oh, instead of just moving the left and the right to the left, I just want to listen more to get more sound out of the left channel. So the only thing we get when we move to the left is the left guitar, the one in the left. We don't get the one in the right. And if I do the opposite, we just get the one in the right. So the pan control is not something we use to tell move to this side or this side. We are just saying, give me more volume of the left or give me more volume of the right. And of course, if you get more from the left, you're going to get less from the right. So it's like we can create that illusion that we are just moving to the left. But the only thing we do is we just get more volume on the left, less on the right. That's it. It's like a fader from the left and for the right side, like a blend control. We are not moving both guitars to the left. So we can actually see this on the ozone imager. If I play this, notice this one. All right, so we get one in the left, one in the right. Now, if I move this around, move everything to the left, this one is not shifting positions. Stays on the same place. All right. Okay, so I believe you get the point. Now, why do you get the dual pan? That's the main question. Why do you get it? So the dual pan is super different than the pan control. It's just a completely different thing. The dual pan will create an independent channel of the left and the right. And what you can do, you can move this around. So if I go and play it again, we are on regular position, left and right. And if I grab the right and start moving, you can notice that this one is going to start moving through the stereo field. Now it's all the way to the left, but now it's shifting. So now the one in the left is in the left. The one in the right is now at center. And that's really cool. So now if we say that we want to put both guitars in the left, we just we'll go to both in the left. And we get them both in the left. Something that we cannot do with the pan control. Same thing if we want to go to the right. Go to the right and then go to the right. And we get them both. So maybe you don't want to go super wide. Well, you can just do a little bit of this. One to the left, one to the right, but mostly center. And it sounds super different. Notice the difference. So when you mix a track, you should always check things with the dual pan. Of course, you use it if you really need to. Maybe you just get a mono file, which you get the same thing in the left, the same thing in the right. So it doesn't matter the dual pan, right? This works best when you have a stereo file. Then maybe you want to move the whole sound to the left and the whole to the right, or maybe just centered everything just a little bit more. or maybe you have a file that it's mono, but maybe it's too wide. So maybe you want to, I wouldn't say mono, just not that stereo, and you want to make the sound a little bit shorter, maybe a little bit more mono, but not that mono. You know what I mean? So yeah, so you can use the tool pan just to adjust the position of the sounds. It's really cool. Okay, so that's it. That's why you get the dual pan. All right, man. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial and learned something new today. So catch you on the next one.